It's time for another episode of Brother Black One Speaks. That's right, it's all about love, relationships, and family. Come on, fam, let's work on this thing called life. And now, without further ado, here is Brother Black One.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Brother Black One here with another hot video. Today I want to talk about something I put out a little while ago, and I asked a question about, are you an emotional whore? I think whore was a pretty strong word for what I was saying. I believe that a more appropriate term is emotionally promiscuous, because being a people's person, a lot of times you give of yourself, and a lot of times you end up getting emotionally burnt by people who you are expecting to give the same zeal that you give to relationships. People are often amused by you because of your ability to articulate, and your ability to master conversation. But what I find is that the same effort you give, you don't often get in return in relation to in relationship to being a person that is outgoing, very sociable. A lot of times people will try to shoot you down and say, oh, well, you talk too much, and I always say, is it that I talk too much or you have nothing to say? How about that? So we have to, as people, we have to be careful of being emotionally promiscuous when we are just giving ourselves up freely to a person for conversation, or even somebody over a period of time. I know that I talk to people freely because I am very much an extrovert, far from an introvert as you can get. But what happens is you're giving yourself up so freely that even in that you have to still get to know a person to find out what they're about. You just can't go off, oh man, they said they're a real cool person, whatever. You still have to find out what that person's like in their entirety. When you engage people, even if you frequent them and you see them all the time, you're still meeting a surface individual. You're never meeting a whole person in their the total sum of a person. So this is just emotionally promiscuous just came about because I know if I'm guilty of it, I know there's some people out there that are guilty of it as well. And if you're not careful, you'll get emotionally burnt, and somebody will say something out the way that you weren't expecting because you guys thought you were cool, and you found out quite the opposite, and you're kind of stuck like, I can't believe that person said that, because you thought they were one way because y'all were vibing so well. Well, I'm here to tell you that be very mindful of when you're meeting people and you're giving yourself up emotionally. And I'm speaking to people who are like me, who are social butterflies, who at the end of the day, people just love engaging with you. But if you don't get that in return, just be mindful of who you are giving yourself up to when you're talking to them, when you're sold into them, because people will take what they want from you, and they'll suck you emotionally dry and leave you standing still talking about, hey, y'all excuse me, I'm trying to navigate back to particular location. 1 second. Yeah, so people will suck you dry. I call them people nutrients, vital people nutrients. Some people don't have that kind of stuff. They just don't have it. They don't have it, you know, and they'll suck you dry of what they didn't got. Or if they know you are that kind of person, they will suck you dry, knowing you ain't even like that, and then want you to always be there for them or cater to them emotionally and stuff like that. Or they'll try to usurp you of your gifts and talents by trying to down talk them, downplay them, or what have you. So my advice to you is be very mindful. I find myself now being cautious with dealing with people now to find out who they are really in their entirety before I start, going all in, like the overzealous puppy that's jumping on somebody's lap because they happy somebody petting them and petting them back. Be mindful of that, and be kind of reserved. It's kind of hard for me to do, but if you don't want to keep getting robbed emotionally, put your little alarm system up to guard you from them people who try to backdoor you emotionally, if you will. This Brother Black One. Peace.
Thanks again for tuning in with another broadcast of Brother Black One. Until next time, family, peace and love.